So I'm just down the plot for half an hour this evening, and it is blissfully quiet, which is not normally the case because we've got a building site next door and we've got a lot of people trimming grass and weeds, and none of that is happening. Can you hear? Nothing other than a plane buzzing over there somewhere. So yeah, perfect time for a quick tour around. So my allotment plot is really easy to look after at this time of year because most of the summer growing is back home in the back garden and the front garden. So let me just show you around. You'll see a few summer things, mainly the heat loving stuff that still needs to be under cover because I don't like covers in the back garden. So after a very dry 6 weeks, we finally had some rain, which is kind of amazing. I so desperately needed some rain. We've only had about 20 millimetres, not as much as many people, but anyway, it's made a difference. So let's just quickly skim through. So we've got our storage beets, and actually these are growing really nicely. They've only been in the ground a few weeks and already they are bigger than some of the beets that have been in the ground for, well, at least 8 weeks longer probably, and they just did not like that really cold April, really stalled growth. Anyway, just got a few broad beans to finish here, and then there'll be more golden beetroot going in these beds, and I've got golden beetroot down here, and again this is the storage crop interplanted with spring onions. This is one of the carrot beds. So most of what I've got planted is a mixture of Touchon and Eskimo, and I'm just looking at that little fly, can you see it walking around in there, and I'm thinking, is that a carrot fly? If so, how the heck did it get in there? Anyway, I'll not worry about that. So another carrot bed just there. I've just pulled some potatoes, so I try and get early baking potatoes at this time of year, and also I get a batch in May, and I've been pretty pleased with them actually. So I'll just put up a little photo. Just I pulled one plant, and all the potatoes came out at the same time, all attached to the plant, so it made quite a nice photo. And then I put the potatoes from 2 plants in a bowl. I think it's about 7 kilos, which is not bad for this time of year. Little greenhouse. Now this is where we've got the chili peppers this year. Need a little bit of water, but quite a lot ready now. I've been picking a few of them, and so they're coming on quite nicely. Got some underneath here, looking quite good. And then also we use this for drying. So this is the early batch of onions. There's a bit of elephant garlic down there. I've still got lots of elephant garlic to harvest, but the onions are looking pretty good. They're pretty much dry now, so we can process those and get them home. I've got one more batch of early potatoes. They're only under this mesh because I've got carrots in here, and this bed will also be carrots pretty soon. So this is my pride and joy. I've just taken the net off, so it did previously have butterfly netting on. I need to just disassemble this frame here, and then all of the stakes, these fence pins that I use to support the nets, they will be reused to support the plants. So these are colettes, did I say that? My favourite plant for winter, and right now we'll start harvesting these leaves. Just look at those leaves, they're just so incredibly beautiful. I think that purple rib, it's amazing, tastes good. What a crop. And this is interplanted with leeks. You can't really see the leeks, they're all around the edges, a bit difficult to see right now, but they're looking pretty good. They always get a bit bashed up in the early days, and then as I start taking the lower leaves off, they get a chance to grow properly again, and then they're pretty good. And then this is my onion bed. Now I always sow my onions really densely, so you can see I've got 3 there bulbing up nicely, and they're not far off medium onion size right now, but of course they've got another 4 or 5 weeks of growing time. and they're going to be great. I'm really pleased with those. I did half the bed seed and half the bed sets. This bed seed, that bed sets. I don't know whether you can see the difference between the two. I'll just try and pan over at the same level. Can you see how much taller these are than the sets? And also, you'll not see a single one of these seeds gone to seed, but even these, which are heat treated sets, have gone to seed. Now these are grown sown at the same density roughly, and so I'm going to do a proper comparison. So here I've got my late crop of strawberries interplanted with apples, cherries, apples and elephant garlic. They're looking quite nice. And we've got my main crop courgettes. Just harvested those yesterday, so there's nothing to see there. Another courgette down here, and this is unusual actually. I've never seen a courgette like this where it's growing off two stems. So you can see yellow courgettes there, and right over there yellow courgettes as well. So two stems off the same plant, quite strange. Anyway, here is the New Zealand spinach, and this is it's incredible. I've only got 6 plants in there and I'm harvesting it like crazy, and it just keeps on coming, and I'm kind of, as I said, I'm kind of just amazed at it. And it's planted in compost, which is obviously it's really loving, and you can see it's in this big container, so it's getting loads of water, loads of nutrients, and as a result it's huge. And this is one of the things that always gets me. People say, oh, New Zealand spinach doesn't need feeding very much. Yes, a really light feeder, but give it a lot of food and this is what happens to it. So yeah, I don't believe books anymore. Anyway, so down here, just put this net on, and this is one of my carrot beds. It did just previously have that green top just draped over the top, but I've given it a good weed. Put the, this net will stay on it now until late actually. We don't normally take the nets off until October, November time, and the carrot fly is definitely gone, and by then I'll cut the tops off because the carrots will all be fully grown. Tops will grow back a little bit, but I can put a cold frame top on here then. It won't freeze, it's easy to harvest all the time, and the carrots don't split because they don't get too wet. So in here, it's the only cold frame top I've got left on, and this bed is golden purslane, and I've got another bed down there with that. It does better without continuous rain. The only problem with this one, it's got green fly. So what I'm going to have to do is cut these plants down to the base and just let them regrow and just compost all of that purslane. Fortunately, this bed doesn't seem to have much in the way of green fly, or not as much. It's not a complete disaster, green fly on purslane, because it washes off really easily. Actually, looking at this, I can see some of it has got green fly, so oh well. So another test bed of onions. So again, same variety. This one grown from sets, this one grown from seed. Not such a difference in the height of these two, but again, lots of these. Not that many actually, maybe 5% of them, maybe more, maybe 10% looking at it, have gone to seed. Not a one of these have gone to seed. Now I don't really mind at this point that things have gone to seed, because the onions are pretty decent size, so we'll just start harvesting and using them, because we haven't got any red onions at this point, because we don't grow red onions over winter. So yeah, so it'd be nice to have some red onions to eat right now. But that's the thing, once they start going to seed, they're not going to grow anymore, so you might as well harvest them and either chop them up or freeze them, or use them fresh. They'll only keep a few weeks. Here's the last of my first earlies, but of course, as I said, I've got my early main crop, and that will start coming, well, it's ready now, and it'll be ready between now and August progressively, and then I'll be waiting for my main crop. But the early main crop will easily last us well into September, so not to worry about that. And then I've got Brussels sprouts. These are looking quite nice. Just taken the tops off these, the covers rather, and you can see on here how I do my leeks. So I do my leeks just in between the plants, and again they get a bit batched up, but because these leaves are going to come off, they're going to be free and they're going to grow just fine. So I've got, I think I've got about 300 leeks, but no dedicated bed. They're just all interplanted wherever I can find a gap. Now these are red ball Brussels sprouts, and again you can see a bit like the Courgettes, this beautiful red ribs, and these are a nice late sprout. And then as we go down here, we just get fill basket, I think the rest of these are. All looking nice. Now, I know loads of people are going to say in the comments, what do you do about pigeons? What do you do about other pests? Because you haven't got your sprouts and Courgettes and Kale and all of that sort of thing under cover. Well, there's a few things. So the first thing is, we just find that caterpillars will, or butterflies and moths will get under the nets no matter what you do. And so you end up with caterpillars under the nets and you can't see them. So we are either obviously not very good at putting nets on, but as a result of that, what we just try and do is just try and keep an eye on everything. So by having the nets off and walking around for half an hour every day, just harvesting, doing a bit of weeding, doing a bit of watering, then we notice when there's a problem. And we're lucky like that because we can come down here most days. And what we also do is we'll spray every couple of weeks with BT, and provided we can find a sort of window when it's not raining, because BT just washes off if it rains, we'll do it at this time at night, so that it doesn't get degraded by the sunshine. Hopefully we'll have more sunshine, and that's what we do. We just keep an eye on them. Now when it comes to pigeons, we do have some pigeons, so much for them to eat on the allotment site that they don't tend to cause a problem. They love this perennial kale. Now this is an old plant that I'm going to cut out at the end of the year, but I've left it in specifically for the pigeons to eat. And they come on here and they munch away at this, and it just keeps them going because it's an incredibly prolific plant. So they're just munching away at that. They're leaving this perennial kale plant and the other one down there, you might be able to see, alone, because they just like to sit right up there out of the way of the cats and munch on this one, and that just keeps them happy. So we, apart from a little bit of a problem later on in the year, that's basically how we deal with pigeons. And obviously, you know, if they come and start attacking things, we'll just put drape nets over the top again. So what have we got down here? We've got sweet corn interplanted into the Crown Prince bed, and you can see the sweet corn's going to be quite big by the time the Crown Prince completely cover this. These Crown Prince are only about, they've only been in the ground about 2 or 3 weeks, and I always plant everything as small little plants, but they're growing at quite a rate now, so they'll have this bed smothered within 3 weeks. And these are a week, maybe 10 days older, and you can see they're a bit bigger now. And we've got some nice little squashes starting to grow, so I'm quite happy with those. So hopefully you can see that I've got quite a few of these little low tunnels. That polytunnel isn't mine. I've got 5 of them, and one of them has got beans in it and doesn't need to be closed. It's just closed because I was weeding the strawberries. And yeah, so these have all got peppers in. So there's an example. So I'm just quickly show you a few of these. You can see these are just turning. These are nearly ready to turn. And some more, again, just about to turn. So these are going to be red very soon. These are long yellow ringo, and they're looking really quite fine. And I'm hoping to get a few more flowers on these, and so I think they're just about to start with some new flowers, so that'll be good. So maybe we'll get a second crop off these. And then these little beauties are my youngest plants, and to be honest I think they're the healthiest looking, and I am going to start harvesting some of these fruits pretty soon. There's a nice red one there already, for example, and some really good sizes. You can see this, there we go, pretty good. We've been harvesting peppers for about 10 days now, so we're getting quite a few nice red ones. They're looking pretty good. There's some more, that little yellow, little red ones here, and some more at the back there, but plenty of lovely green ones to come. So hopefully we'll have a nice continuous harvest, which is always the objective, and we'll have plenty by the time the tomatoes come, because we use a lot of peppers in the passata mixes. And yeah, here's another bed, and again some nice red ones here. So you can see this is why I do them in these little low tunnels, and I just have them like this, and they just like it like this. They get plenty of shelter from the wind, they're nice and warm, but the ground doesn't get too hot, and they seem to like that combination better than if they were in the Polytunnel. And then I've got some more Bristles and Courgettes, and they're nearly outgrowing their net, so a week or two's time and they'll be out. This is my super early kale bed. Obviously we've been harvesting kale for a very long time from here, and it's pretty much finished now, so just a few more weeks of harvesting here, and then this will be transplanted to purple sprouting broccoli. I've got lots of beetroot interplanted into this bed that are ready now. Asparagus is doing quite nicely, quite pleased with it. And I don't know whether you can see in here, can you see that mass of onions? So these are all spring onions that I just interplanted. They're a great interplant for asparagus because they're so shallow rooted, and of course the asparagus is really deep rooted. You can pull them up without disturbing the asparagus at all, and I've got lots of them. But we're never without spring onions every week of the year. Early peas, just finishing now. Sugar snaps at this end, moisture at that end. I've got some shallots in here, interplanted with spring onions, looking a bit of a tangled mess. We won't dwell on that. So these are my second early strawberries, still going strong. And this whole bed, last few days ago actually, was interplanted with garlic, and we've just harvested the garlic, and I was really pleased with the crop. It's a complete bonus because this is just primarily a strawberry bed, but yeah, you can just prove that you can get a really good crop of garlic without interfering with the strawberries and without causing the garlic any issues. And here are the dwarf French beans, coming along very nicely. I'm going to get a really nice crop off these, and I don't want a crop right now because I've got loads of French beans in the polytunnel, more than we can eat. I'll show you those in a minute. I'll just step down here, and we've got more onions, but a really wide spacing, and the wide spacing is because this is primarily a bed of parsnips. So I'm hoping for some really big parsnips, and they will have this bed completely to themselves come August time when I pull out these onions, and the onions and the parsnips are coexisting really nicely. So I'm really quite happy with that interplant. This is my oldest courgette plant, and you can see how old it is. by counting all of these courgettes that I've harvested over the last few months. Down here I've got my ochre crop. We love ochre. We use it as a radish alternative in winter, although you can cook with it and use it like potatoes. This is the best my ochre has ever looked. They have really liked something about the cutting conditions this year. I'm not sure what. Much more than the pear tree has. Hardly any pears on it this year. So let's take a quick look in the polytunnel. Now everything in my polytunnel is running quite well, not everything, most things are running quite late because I really focus this polytunnel on giving me the maximum yield over winter and spring. And so all of these beds in May were covered, full of spring crops. And so everything has been replanted in mid to late May with the cucumbers and the tomatoes and all of that. So apart from some of them, they're a bit spindly, but they will pick up. Still the trusses are a decent size. Anyway, let's take a bit more of a detailed look. So I've got cucumbers here, they're coming on well. I've got cucumbers here, some of these are ready. Actually we've harvested 3 or 4 off those already, but we've got loads of cucumbers still in the conservatory at home. So to be honest, we don't really need any cucumbers right now, but we are hoping to get a nice bumper crop in a few weeks' time. So cucumbers, and more cucumbers. Doing well. These are all the little sort of lunchbox size of cucumbers, and we'll let them grow up here and into this canopy. As I said, all the way down here we've got tomatoes, and they're looking pretty good. Got some really nice sized trusses on these. We've got some fairly good, well populated trusses on here right now. And all of these down here are all cherries. I've got a few ripe ones, so we should be in tomato abundance fairly soon. And then down here, just a couple more cherries. Again, not bad little trusses on these. Quite happy. I mean, I'm not a massive kind of expert tomato grower, so this all looks good enough for my skill levels. And then all of these are for cooking. So San Marzano, I think they all are. All down here, different successions planted at different times, so they're all slightly different sizes. See some of the garlic here, it's just drying. I've got a few cucamelons here in these hanging baskets, and I've got some celery here. We've been harvesting this since May. It's doing pretty well. Really nice stalks on it, and we just take these stalks off the outside as I cut and come again, and just keep continuous harvesting of this for, well, as long as it'll go, up until about October time. Then we just take out whatever's left and freeze it, and then I'm just filling these beds with bits and pieces. So I've got some beetroot here, golden beetroot, golden purslane here, some basil there. I've got my beans, early beans in here. So these are a Dwarf French bean cross. There's a pretty good yield on these, but not as good as the true French beans, which are at the other end. I'll show you those in a second. Some more golden purslane here. This, thank goodness, does not have green fly. And I've got some early leeks, summer leeks. So these are pretty much ready for harvest now. So we'll start taking a bunch of these a week, and this will last us until the outdoor summer leeks are ready. I've got some extremely sickly looking carrots here, but I've got stacks of carrots, so I'm not really worried about that. Next succession of golden beetroot there, and some parsley down here, and some celeriac down there. Now, I don't know really why I did celeriac. I guess I just did it because the celery does so well in here. I thought I'd see how well the celeriac does. So far, not that great. And more garlic drying here, and the French beans. And these are great. We've got so many of these. I'm just harvesting them every other day. Easily enough to keep up with us and the family. I just can't believe how quick they grow. They do love it in here. Even the snails love it in here. So that's pretty much it for the polytunnel. So I just started planting up my Christmas potatoes, although we don't really use them for Christmas. We use them for the kind of period November through to April, when we start harvesting our new season potatoes. So all of this strip down here will all be full of these late crop Charlotte potatoes. Not least are summer carrots, and these are in containers, as you can see. There's quite a lot of successions here, but they have got a bit of downy mildew on the leaves. I'm not really sure what to do about that. It's a common problem here. I often get it on my early carrots, but fortunately they're pretty much ready now, so hopefully it's not going to be a problem. I hope it doesn't spread to my next successions. And these little babies here, but in the past I've found it doesn't seem to spread. It seems to be more to do with the plants being stressed, and that stress was just probably because they just got too dry. So I hope you like this quick video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I've got a nice little ebook. You can find a link to that in the description. It's free, but if you want to donate then you're quite welcome to. See you soon.